Let's make a creamy, cheesy chicken wrap. Always make sure you wash your chicken. I did that off of camera. I'm using chicken thighs because chicken breast to me is too rough. First, I season with Lawry's seasoned salt, then with regular salt, and then afterwards I use some pepper. If you want to, you can stab the chicken a couple times with a fork. I did not do that this time, but I do know some people who do because it helps for the seasonings to soak in. I'm cooking the thighs on low heat and I just continuously flip them as I cook. And the reason I'm in a towel is because I had just gotten home from the gym, so I showered while I was making this, and that's why I changed clothes. But continue to flip these over several times, and then I like to cut them. Since I'm pregnant, I want them to be completely fully cooked, so I end up slicing them in half, and then I end up shredding them and cooking them some more. So I just slice them in half. Once they're sliced in half, I kind of put them on their sides. Make sure that you don't cut too deep to where it slices your pan. I'm using a steak knife, but I'm struggling because I don't want to cut too deep into my pan and ruin my pans. So make sure that you cut it real easy and not into your pan. I know I said that so many times, but I want to emphasize that because you don't want to scratch your pans. And it's also a little harder to cut whenever it's partially cooked and partially raw, but see how the inside is still really raw? That's due to the low heat cooking that I'm doing. I have it set at 2 on the stove, but you can cook it a little higher if you want to. I just want to make sure mine is completely fully cooked since I'm pregnant. As I said earlier, I like to shred the chicken, so I ended up moving it off the burner really quick so I could take it into a plate, and then I shred the chicken. Some of it I did off camera just because, you know, it's time consuming, but I shred the chicken and then I'll put it back in the pan and cook some more because I do want it completely fully cooked. Now that I've got my chicken shredded, I turn up the heat just a little bit and then I start to brown it because, as I said before, I want it fully cooked. And I made my own sauce, so I don't know, it's kind of original. I don't ever measure anything. I think that it tastes better that way, to just go with what you think tastes good. The first thing that I use for this sauce is Chick-fil-A sauce. You can use any chicken sauce. This is just a chicken sauce that I know that I like. And girl, if you don't like Chick-fil-A sauce, use something else, okay? That's just what I wanted to use. If you want to, you can use Chipotle sauce and beef, but I use chicken, so I'm doing Chick-fil-A sauce, okay? The next thing that I put in is the Philadelphia original cream cheese, and my camera cut out like right when I started putting it in there, so that's why like the angle changes and all of that. I don't know why the angle changed either, but I use the original Philadelphia cream cheese. And ignore my nails, girl, okay? I'm finna get them done. Ignore them. But I think that the cream cheese goes well with this sauce. It might sound like a bad combo, but once you make this wrap, girl, it's good. The last thing that I put in this sauce is some Fiesta blend cheese. And I know I used the Great Value because they did not have the Kraft in the Fiesta blend, and that's what I wanted. And then I also like to put some seasoning in there, and it's cayenne pepper. If you want to, you can use some hot sauce. I like hot sauce, but I don't like the flavor of hot sauce. So I just put in some cayenne pepper, and you see how it's nice and cheesy, stringy. That's exactly what you want, okay? Then I like to put it in a bowl, and again, my camera cut out. So then I put some olive oil in a pan, and I let that olive oil kind of warm up a little bit. Don't put like too much. You just want to cover the bottom of the pan. And then I get a tortilla. This is why I put the stuff in a bowl like aside. I add some extra cheese to that tortilla, and then I start to put that mixture, the chicken and the sauce, in the tortilla. You don't have to put extra cheese, but I like to put extra cheese because I like my wraps cheesy. You know what I'm saying? So start to scoop some of it out and put it into your tortilla, and then you'll wrap it. I set the first one aside because I was waiting on that olive oil to warm, but then you'll start putting them in the olive oil. Now please do not judge my wrapping skills. I was struggling on that first one, but after that I did pretty good. And with the olive oil, it crisps it together, so whether or not your wrap skills are good, it's still gonna taste good, okay? Now I do like to check on them as I go just to make sure that it's good and browned, especially since I put that first one in a little early. I like to check on them as I go, make sure they're good and browned, and then once they're good and browned on each side, flip them over. Some of them I like to cook a little bit on the side too, just to make sure that they stay closed. But see how they good and brown? Now they're gonna stay all the way closed. It's nice and crispy. It gives the tortillas a little crunch, and it tastes really good that way. You can taste the olive oil in it a little bit, but if you don't want extra virgin olive oil, just use like light olive oil or regular. But I use extra virgin because I like the way that flavor tastes, especially on these tortillas whenever I low-key fry them. I don't know what that's called. Is that frying? I don't know, but it tastes good. Once they're done, just start to set them to the side, and they're not oily or greasy or anything since I used olive oil. You could probably use some other type of oil like vegetable oil or canola oil, but they'd probably be a little more greasy that way. I like to use olive oil because it's the least greasiest and it adds a good touch of flavor. So this is what they looking like, nice and crunchy. I'm gonna open one up for you. Don't judge, I was struggling just a little bit to get it open, but you can see the inside of it, and girl, don't that look good?